This ghost's name is Phases. He is a Mecha King Ghidorah. Well, that's what we hear from the people who survived him. Most of the people who survived him spoke backwards, except for one boy. This ghost was first spotted at the Mariana Trench on September 6 of 2020. Several innocent players have gone missing. 9 to be exact. There are lots of rumors and ghost stories being spread about this ghost. The following is the experience of the only survivor that didn't speak backwards. The survivor is 14 years old. This was reported back in September 30th, 2020. It had been a long day of school. I sat down on my gaming chair and turned on the PC to play Roblox. My mouse hovered over a game titled Kaiju Universe. Rumors had been floating around about a ghost that had been corrupting the game. I selected my kaiju as Kumonga. It was the best kaiju for ghost hunting. It had the speed, I could beam spam the ghost, I could hide behind buildings, and I even had it maxed out with all the skill points on it. So I swam over to the Mariana Trench and dived down. Oddly, it was way deeper than usual. I planned to lure out the ghost into Tokyo so I could dispose of it. I swam deeper and deeper. As I went deeper, it got darker. The only things that were visible were Kumonga's eyes. Then I hit the bottom of the Mariana Trench. I decided to swim back up to the surface. As I got to the surface, I noticed that it was raining. I felt uneasy. The devs didn't add rain to the game yet, I thought. I felt uneasy. I called this the uncanny valley of Kaiju Universe. Then I saw it. I saw Phases floating in the air. It wasn't even flapping its wings. At that moment I froze in fear. I didn't think I would actually find a ghost. I then remembered why I was here, to exterminate the ghost. I quickly shifted my hand onto the buttons WASD on my keyboard and swam until I got to Tokyo. I turned my camera back to where I swam from to see if Phases was following me, but he wasn't. I turned my camera back to Tokyo and he was there, floating in the sky and staring towards me. I fired my beam at him and he started closing in. He let out his first attack, which did half of my health. I couldn't see his health at the moment. He came in for his next attack, but I jumped away just at the right moment and fired my beam at him once again. It was my usual tactic, which was spamming Kumonga's beam, hiding behind buildings and repeat. I ran around as Phases continuously attacked me. I kept dodging his attacks as my health healed, and he released his third attack, which was his beam. He aimed it at me, but I quickly hid behind a few buildings and waited until his beam ran out. I then fired my beam again and doing no damage. I had regenerated all my health at that point and kept spamming my beam, and I thought, this clearly isn't going to work. I decided to flee from the battle. People didn't like runners, but what would else you do in this situation? I hopped back into the water and it seemed like Phases followed me. I swam all the way to Antarctica and planned to finish Phases off there. Luckily, I was recording all of this. I resurfaced at Antarctica and Phases also reappeared there. I fled the scene and looked for a place to hide, and I saw something in the corner of my eyes. It was a cube. It was a neon green cube that was glowing, and it was attached to wires that were also glowing in the same shade of green. I thought to myself, this is normal, and I made an assumption that it was the source to its power. I turned my camera around and I saw Phases. I dodged out of the way as he tried to tackle me. He landed on the cube and he screamed in pain. The cube was absorbing his soul. The cube then turned red as Phases turned back into a regular Mecha King Ghidorah, except that his eyes were still black and he dropped dead. The cube rised into the air and shedded its wires. Then it cracked open, revealing nothing but darkness inside and completely shattered. The pieces were flying everywhere on the map and planted into the ground like seeds. The pieces that landed in the water dissolved like white sugar in water. Then I saw the text, in 6 months. What did that mean? 6 months would be April 6, 2021. 2020 was crazy enough, but now I have to deal with this. Then I realized something. If Phases died to the cube, then it must not be its source of power. It must be a virus cleaner in the code, but now it was corrupted and broken. Phases so must be in there. If the pieces of the cube were implanted into the ground, wouldn't that mean he would be everywhere? Madbite means there will be new ghosts in 6 months. Once April the 30th comes, I will start preparing for a ghost hunt, but not alone. I will call my closest friends for backup. More ghosts might be forming inside the code. I have to stop this. Then my computer crashed. Man, I hate 2020.